correction. That's 10.15, purchase of electric motors. The vendor should be French Gerluman. Before I go on to citizen statements, I do want to make an introduction. I see that we have a Boy Scout in the audience. I'd like you to stand up, tell us your name, what troop you're in, and what you're doing here tonight. Well, welcome and thanks for coming. Let's see. 5.0 citizen statements. We have two tonight. I'm going to call your name. Please come up to the podium, say your name and address for the record. We like to limit them to 3 minutes. And if you've got a written statement, you can give it to Mrs. Calanda. First, I'd like to call Nick Davis.
I'm Nick Davis. My address is 1215 Blairshire Drive in Manchester, 63011. And thank you for having me up this evening. As a parent in Parkway, I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you and also appreciate what you do. And I was going to thank all the teachers, but they left. And so what brought me here tonight was, along with another parent and a couple of our wrestlers at West, we have heard through the rumor mill that there's some potential for the program, the wrestling program at West, North, and Central to be potentially eliminated. I don't think you're voting on that tonight, so I won't read you my 3-page speech. Save you that for another time, and I'll pass it off and you guys can read it at your leisure. But I wanted you to be aware that the parents are concerned and we do see a lot of benefit from the program, even though there is low participation right now. I'm sure specifically with regards to West, you know the choppy history. That about 2 years ago, there was a issue with a coach, and they had some inconsistent coaching, and coach went to jail. Last year, they had 3 coaches that all taught different directions, had a lot of issues. Long story short, 2 to 3 years of no recruiting and bad coaching leads to a small program. We have a great coach this year. He's doing a great job, and we really would like the opportunity to continue to build that squad and not lose it. So that's the short version, and you can read my 3 pages later, along with a written statement from one of our other future captain for next year and another mom. Any questions for me while we're here?
We're going to send you a reply in writing.
Okay.
So thank you for coming, and we look forward to reading your 3-page.
Sorry, I figured that was better than reading it.
Next, I'd like to call Amanda Stanek.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. My name's Amanda Stanek, 1556 Foxley Court, Town and Country, 63131. I've only been here a few months. I had to think about that even first. I am actually here for the same reason. I heard recently that there is consideration to close some wrestling programs. Clearly, I'm not a wrestler, and I'm not a wrestling mom, but I've never wrestled. I'm here as a community member and a health and physical education professor. My PhD is from the University of Virginia in health and physical education. I do a lot of public health consulting while I'm home with my 1- and 3-year-olds who will go to one of these wonderful schools. And I actually bought my house sight unseen because I heard how great these schools were, so I really appreciate your time and all of your service. So I just wanted to start, I won't be long, what we know about the students in our schools. We know we work tirelessly to support 21st century learners. We know that the proposed NASP standards, the National Association for Sport and Physical Education, are based on the foundation of physical literacy. So we know we want to develop physically literate students for our schools. And we know that today's students are among the first generation with a lower life expectancy than their parents, according to the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2005. We know that wrestling is actually growing throughout this country. Wrestling is currently the 6th most popular sport among high school athletes, with over 272,000 participants. Over 8,000 girls wrestle at the high school level, and 22 colleges currently have wrestling programs. Over 350 college wrestling programs, with 72 new ones since 1999. Why such growth? Perhaps it's the cost to participate. Unlike many sports, pair of shoes, headgear, that's it. It's accessible for students regardless of their zip code, and I know that you all care about that. Weight class. There's a singlet in every size for boys and girls. I like that. You also know the new law regarding children with disabilities and opportunity for sport. My colleagues are calling it the Title IX for students with disabilities. Well, just so you know, 2 years ago, an NCAA Division I champion, one leg. He wrestled against students without disabilities. Why is this such a big deal from a public health perspective? Wrestlers each day have the opportunity to hone health-related physical fitness, cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, body composition, flexibility. Not 30 seconds for a play, not 30-minute halves, every practice. John Rady from Harvard, professor, medical doctor, documents how learning readiness with a good amount of cardiovascular endurance promotes learning. Wrestling does that. It also fosters 21st century learner in risk-taking, creativity, and problem-solving, all skills that we work tirelessly to promote in our classrooms. We can have this going on for students after schools extracurricularly. It's certainly not going to hurt their learning. I know that Parkway School District is committed to helping and developing physically literate individuals, providing all students, regardless of gender, disability, socioeconomic status, opportunity to participate in athletics. And if we want to acknowledge the revolutionary new science on exercise in the brain, I hope that we work together to promote this sport at all levels rather than just cut it. I get nervous unless I'm presenting to a whole bunch of PE teachers, so I really thank you for your time and patience with my voice shaking. And, you know, let's not follow what the Olympics did. High school athletics isn't about developing Olympians. Less than 1% of kids who participate in high school athletics go on to participate in college. Less than 1% of college athletes go on to participate in sport. It's about developing physically literate, healthy kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You will also receive a reply in writing. Thank you for coming. 6.0, call for executive session. There is none. 7.0, approval of agenda for March 13th, 2013. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. 8.0, resolutions. There are none. 9.0, communications. We have two newly selected principals. I'd like to call on Mr. Desi Kirchhofer.
Good evening once again. It's an honor to be in front of you tonight to introduce to our newest leaders to the Parkway family and community. First, I'd like to ask Dr. Gina Piccini to come join me at the podium. Gina. How are you?
I'm good.
Just a brief little introduction here. I want to let you know that Dr. Piccini is being recommended to you tonight to serve as the next principal of Carmen Trails Elementary. Dr. Piccini began her teaching career as a third-grade teacher in Riverside, California. She has been an assistant principal, a principal, and director of research evaluation and testing, and most recently, a principal in the St. Charles School District. She holds her doctorate of education from Walden University, as well as a master's degree in educational administration from West Texas A&M, and a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of California, Riverside. We did a little checking on Dr. Piccini, and she just had phenomenal references. Couldn't say anything more about her dedication to what she does and the kids at her current school. I think we are lucky and honored to have her join us, and I want to formally introduce her to the Board of Education and give her an opportunity to say a couple words. Dr. Piccini, welcome.
Wow. Thank you, Desi. That was a great introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much, School Board. I've met almost all of you this evening earlier, but I want to thank you very much for this tremendous opportunity. I have already met some amazing, wonderful people. Really a great district. I look like my colleague who was presenting. I'm a little nervous too. This is quite so I'll take it slow. I cannot wait to get started and learn just a little bit more and a little bit more about Carmen Trails and about Parkway and getting ready and preparing for the next coming year. I am very proud and very honored to be part of Carmen Trails and this district. Thank you very much.
I'm glad you said you're ready to start learning, because I have a couple things for you, so some take home.
I thought when the doctorate was done, we were done.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like Kashina Bell to please join me at the podium. Some of you may already know Kashina, as she's been with the Parkway family before and is part of a Parkway family now as a parent and community member. But Mrs. Kashina Bell is being recommended to the board this evening to serve as the next principal of Northeast Middle School. Ms. Bell began her teaching career as a business teacher at Parkway West High School before serving as an administrative intern at Southwest Middle School. Most recently, she has served in the Hazelwood School District at Hazelwood East High School as an assistant principal. She holds a master's degree in educational administration from Lindenwood University. She also has her master's degree in practical arts and vocational technical education and a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Missouri-Columbia. She is currently working on her doctoral work at Maryville University. And again, just like Dr. Piccini, we did some checking, although we didn't have to go very far because we knew about her work history here in Parkway. She is an outstanding and caring educator. And again, we are honored and lucky, and we look forward to working with her as the new leader and principal at Northeast Middle. Kashina, welcome.
Good evening to the Parkway School Board. Good evening to all community members. I will be very, very short, but I would like to say that I am truly, truly honored to be back, a place where I feel is home. I do live in the district. I do have children who attend in the district, and I was here for a long, long time as a teacher. And it's just really, it warms my heart, and I feel very, very honored that you all are entrusting me to continue the great leadership in Parkway as the new principal at Northeast Middle. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies, we look forward to working with both of you come July 1st. 9.02, update on Board of Education filing. We have 8 people that have filed for the 2 vacancies on the Board of Education. And I do believe I see each and every one of them here tonight. So as I say your name, please stand so everybody can see who you are. And I'm going to read the names in order of filing. First, Dr. Sam Sorrentino, Jennifer Clifton, Tom Applebaum, Daniel Brodsky, Debbie Hopper, Brad Williams, Ken Eigenberg, Diane Finistad. Thank you all for being here. We had a very lively candidate forum this past Monday night that was moderated by the League of Women Voters, and we enjoyed hearing from everybody, and we look forward to the results of the election on April 2nd. Thank you. 9.03, calendar of meetings. The next meeting of the Board of Education is scheduled for Wednesday, April 10th, 2013 at Central Middle School, with the organization starting at 7 p.m. and the regular meeting starting at 7:30 p.m. 9.04, it's time for board liaison reports.
On Saturday, Mrs. Feldman, Mr. Applebaum, myself, Dr. Marty, and Diana Stewart attended a CSD legislative breakfast where we spent the morning listening a lot about the Common Core and talking to legislators. What would you say, a couple hundred people there maybe? It's a yearly event, and good to get out once again and talk to our legislators. We always learn something. So it was an interesting morning.
All right. Bruce?
Enjoyed the all-district orchestra last night. My daughter Madison, as a 5th grader, was the first of my kids to stick with strings long enough to make the event. So that was puts a different spin on it to have your own child out there. So Sandy, congratulations. Absolutely outstanding evening, and I hope Maddie's not watching, but I really thought those middle schoolers hit a home run last night, so thank you.
Thanks.
Well, I want to echo what Dee said about the legislative breakfast, and it was really nice to see all the districts kind of brought together for that, and you know, hear some of the issues that are important to the legislature. And I also want to say that the board forum was really interesting. We got a great slate of candidates, and please encourage everybody to go vote on April 2nd.
Thanks. Sam.
I just want to echo about the concert last night. We have so many reasons to be proud in Parkway of our students and our faculty and administrators, but last night was absolutely spectacular. Each group was phenomenal. 500 fifth graders played at one time in unison. Likewise, the middle schools. The high school symphonic group, each one of those youngsters could play in a professional orchestra somewhere. I mean, it's absolutely outstanding. And compliments to Sandy, our faculty, our administrators who support it so much, but it's absolutely wonderful. I don't know anywhere in this country where you would get that many outstanding young musicians at the quality that they play together in one place, and it was phenomenal. But thank you all very much for a very pleasurable evening.
Thank you. Kashina, welcome, and you don't know what short is until you've walked in my shoes for a while. And to Dr. Piccini, I just want to say bienvenida, benvenuto. We're glad to have you here. The candidate forum was excellent, and I just have to tell you, I was walking out with an elderly couple that let me know that they've been to every candidate forum that there's ever been. And the lady said to me, she must have been in her 80s, she said, wasn't this great? And I said, it was great. She said, it was the best ever. I said, well, there were 8 of them. I said, but when I ran, there were 10 of us. He said, oh, that wasn't nearly as good as this group. So, a little humble pie. Last night, I filled in for Bruce so he could do the more important thing of being a father and representing his family there and enjoying that. So I went to CSD, to their governing council, where we elected a replacement for Ken. Peg Lacina, just a wonderful lady. She'd served on the board previously many years ago, but she'll do a wonderful job there on the special school district board. And so thank you.
Okay, my turn. A couple of weeks ago, Mrs. Mogerman and I attended the Spirit of Excellence Awards at the Two Hill Center in UMSL. I had never been to that award ceremony before. We honored 320 children for academic achievement. It was a really great evening. So nice to see so many families come out for that. About 10 days ago, the entire board, all 7 of us, plus many administrators in Parkway, participated with our PNEA group in our communications lab. This is not a negotiations year. It was just a time for us to get together and share some thoughts and strategies about how things are going between teachers in the district, and we, I think, had a really good time. It was facilitated beautifully by Paul Tandy. Thank you, Paul. And we always learn so much when we get together with the teachers, and hopefully the teachers got a little bit from the board perspective, administration perspective, so it's a really good idea to get together and share our ideas, and we look forward to meeting with you all again next year. Mrs. Mogerman and I attended a religious leaders meeting just yesterday. It's a group of religious leaders whose houses of worship serve Parkway community members, and it's a really great group that's put together by Diana Stewart in the communications department. And it was so great. We had a wonderful presentation from Dr. Watson on character education, and we're both groups, both Parkway and these religious leaders, are striving for the same kinds of character values. So it was really good to have some discussion about that. And then we went over the religious calendar, the calendar of religious events, which is something that we think is really important to be shared with the schools, with the principals, with the teachers, so that we can make sure all of our students can observe their religious holidays without fear of missing something important in their school. We had the PR advisory a couple of weeks ago, also put on by Paul Tandy. That's a great group of professionals who give their time to help Parkway. And then we also had the government relations meeting recently, and that is another meeting where Parkway gets to meet with our legislators that represent different parts of our district. All different levels. We have representatives that come aides to our senators sometimes, our U.S. representatives, and our Missouri legislators, and as well as sometimes our local politicians. So it's really great to get together with those people, and we kind of share our ideas there too. So it's been a busy couple of weeks, and now I guess it's time to get on with the rest of our meeting. Thank
Mrs.
you.
Feldman, can I just want to mention, so many good things have been going on in Parkway by the board's comments, and I just want to say to the public, and I get a chance to be part of so many of these things and arts events and music events. It's been a real busy couple of weeks, and our board members and our administrators are putting in hours and hours, and I think it's, as we think about our spring break, I think we need to catch our breath a little bit. As you can hear, we're very, very busy. But I just want to say thank you to so many people who are willing to put in hours and hours, to our administrators, our principals, our staff, all the people that work with our young people, and then our board, and many, many people in our community. So it's a wonderful place to work, and it's a wonderful place to see us all really step up. There's so much going on. Almost every night there you can find something going on in the Parkway School. And so it's not easy to get involved. So thank you, board. Thank you, administrators, staff. It's been a very busy time, and we need a little break so we can hit the road running for the final 8 to 9 weeks of the school year.
Okay. Did you want something?
I was just saying that I attended the SSD banquet dinner, and I believe that Parkway West received an award at that dinner. I was there, but I was actually there on behalf of our company, not as a board member. And it was Dr. Mitchell and
Terry Martinez.
Terry Martinez.
Yeah.
So congratulations. It was a wonderful banquet, and I was pleased to be there.
Thank you, Kim, and that's really a good point. We had the two principals from West were honored for some of their creative work, integrating special ed and regular ed, and then we had a couple of our SSD staff members, special school district staff members that work in the district, being recognized. So it's a wonderful night. So thanks for bringing that up. Another activity.
Okay, we're going to go to 10.0, action items. May I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there anything that needs to be pulled to action or closed? I have already notified Mrs. Kalanda that I have to abstain from line 179 of 10.02. And aside from that, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0, except for that one that I abstained from. That is 601. Thank you. 11.0, action items. There are none. And this is the part we've all been waiting for, 12.0, reports. I'd like to call Dr. Joy Torgerson, Director of Human Resources, Mrs. Liz Morrison, Coordinator of Staff Development, to talk to us about recruiting, employing, and developing the best possible teachers.
All right. President Feldman, Vice President Mogerman, Mr. Marty, Ms. Kalanda, School Board. Liz and I would like to just give you a brief update about Goal 5. This is our normal catch-up time that we do for all of the goals. But this is in particular Liz and my goal that we share together. You will see on our first slide the measurable objectives that go along with Goal 5. And I know that you already hear a lot about these because they're just intertwined with everything we do. But two of the measurable objectives, number 1 and number 2, have to do with the evaluation of employees. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more depth. Our third measurable objective talks about the diversity of our staff. And the fourth measurable objective is where Liz comes in, and that's professional learning piece. And for those of you who have been involved with Project Parkway all along, you will know that that was a change that we made last year. And we did that because we felt, you know, as you go through a strategic plan, you learn and you grow as you're going through. And it's supposed to be, a strategic plan is supposed to be a dynamic plan and have changes. So professional learning just fits so much better under this particular goal rather than having it part of the professional learning community goal. So that's why we made that change. Oops. We'd like to go through, I'm going to combine measurable objectives 1 and 2 because both of them have to do with evaluations. And the first goal has to do with our teacher evaluation model. And right now, we are in year 2 of the teacher evaluation model, and we have done lots and lots of work way before I ever got here, but we have had a lot of work with the teachers group, administrators group, and continue to work on that teacher evaluation model. And I can tell you that from an outside perspective, because I'd like to take some of the credit for the writing of it, because a lot of districts would like to, be able to use ours after all this work we've done, but I can't take any credit for it. So I can say truthfully that it is by far the best collaboration of any group I have ever seen in being able to come up with something. When we meet, our action team continues to meet, and when we meet about the things that we really, how are we going to change this, what makes sense, how is it all working, it is really collaborative, and it just makes you proud to be part of Parkway and proud to be a part of these groups because it is an action team at its best. At any rate, part of that teacher evaluation model has to do with some things that are also listed here, is that we had to do some work on it, especially because the state and the waiver piece went through this year. And because we are part of that waiver, we needed to make sure we were very definitive about having a student achievement piece part of all our evaluation models, the teacher's evaluation model and the administrator evaluation model. So that was one of the things our action team has been working with, and Lisa's teaching, learning, and accountability team has been working with, because while student learning was part of every single domain that we talked about, it wasn't as clear as it probably needed to be for state requirements, and it probably just as good for us to be very clear why we're here. We want to see students grow. And so that's what we're working on right now, is making sure that we are putting in both of our teachers and administrators evaluation instruments a characteristic that talks about how are we going to measure that growth of students between 2 points in time. So we have lots of teachers and lots of administrators working on that. Lisa Meredith had lots of focus groups and is working on that as well. So we've had lots of input and are still going to be doing some changes with our models to make all that come through. Last year, we started with an action team redesigning and updating our administrator evaluation model as well. This year has been our pilot year. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, our technical piece of that, having it online, has slowed us down in that pilot a little bit. I think really this semester has been the first time that the administrators have really felt like they could get on, they could use the system as it's supposed to be online, and we're still working through that. So I look for our action team to be working with that process and doing some changes, and we may continue that into next year, looking at some other things as far as that goes. But I think we have all of the administrators on. We've looked at it, we're using it, and I think our pilot just may extend a little bit to make sure the online piece is going along with that as well. The evaluation piece for the operations employees had already been updated the year before I came, and they had really combined that with goals and strategies that people use on their jobs. When I came and Dr. Marty came, what we did is we added the piece about Project Parkway to it. So when you look at an operations evaluation, you will see those domains, you will recognize those goals, because we connected Project Parkway into all of the operations evaluations as well. Professional learning has to go hand in hand with all of that evaluation piece. And I can also tell you from being a person who hasn't been in Parkway, the administrators' meetings that we have once a month are truly learning meetings. Almost always, Liz and I are doing a tag team with a piece about either the administrator evaluation model, and every time we're doing something with the teacher evaluation model. We will get together in small groups and look at vignettes on the webcams, and poor Liz has taught many classes so that we could use her as our guinea pig, and we sit together and try to think, how can we be more consistent? If I'm looking at this domain, administrators, what are we looking at? Because that's what we want to do. We want to have inter-rater reliability so that the evaluation instrument in one school looks like the evaluation instrument in another school. So we do a lot of work with that. Liz also works with new administrators and new teachers coming in so that when the new folks come in, they can start with that, beginning information, but yet that training continues as we go through that process. Measurable Objective 3 is to do with the diversity of our staff. And some of the things that we have done thus far is that we have try to do a lot of things that will get us in a position where we'll be able to make connections and work on that, because that is a weakness for our school district. We want our teaching staff, our administrators, to mirror our students' ethnicity. And so one of the things that we have done is on Measurable Objective 3, started working on some of these things. One of the things that I did this year, I contacted all of the universities where we all recruit and said, please tell me the makeup of your graduates. If you have graduates in the education department in December and May, I would like to know what that makeup is. And what that has pointed out is we have some ways to go in some of those universities. We have very few universities that are even producing the number of graduates that we need to be able to mirror our students. So I've started having preliminary conversations with universities about what can we do with scholarships, what are the things that you're thinking about doing, because we're going to do some things on our end, but universities, if we're going to have partnerships, I need you to understand what's important to us. When universities come to me and say, I want my student teachers placed in ethnically diverse classrooms, my comeback is, are your graduates ethnically diverse? Because I need the same thing. I'm really popular in some cases. The DIA has, I'm a member of the Diversity in Action team, and we have several committees that are going, but one of those committees is the HR committee. They help in so many ways, especially with our recruitment. It's not just the recruitment fair, although they have worked diligently in making sure that information is out to all sorts of community groups to be able to get people to come into our recruitment fair, but they also are continuing to send names of acquaintances, people that are moving, people that I can follow up and invite them to actually apply in our school district. I think in all of my 37 years, no one has ever invited me to apply to their school district. So if I got something from an HR manager that said, please, we hear you're moving to this area, we'd love for you to apply to our district, I mean, I think that's good, and I am willing to do that and would love to do more of it. Our high school classes, especially North and South, we have two really, and Jennifer Stanfield can talk about this even more, but we have two really strong programs in which we have a teaching class and a practicum class, and those, in fact, some of us even went out and talked to those classes of those students, and what we're trying to do is recruit our own students into becoming teachers, into thinking that might be an area that they're interested in. We're trying to do that, plus we're trying to get, there's tutoring programs. Maybe a student has never thought that they would ever be interested in teaching, but they get involved in that A+ tutoring, and they're thinking, maybe there is something, and so we're trying to do some recruitment and getting people interested. Our interview teams, one of the goals of, one of the pieces that all of our administrators and interview teams have to, is we have to make sure we have a diverse interview team whenever we are interviewing for candidates. Our publications, we try to show and mirror what our students look like and make sure that we are appealing to all groups of people. And then the connections that I was talking about, I have gone to what is now called the PAMI group. I've got good, I think, relationships with the teachers who are having these classes, and so we're trying to develop relationships so we can make those connections and get folks interested in being part of Parkway. Measurable Objective 4. Liz.
I have one slide. I'm going to make it count. So Measurable Objective 4 is about professional learning, and as Joyce said, we moved this from goal number 4, which is on professional learning communities, over to goal number 5, because this is inclusive of PLCs, yet separate from PLCs. So this is kind of a list of the things we do, and I'll just add a little bit to that. So we have summer institutes, and in this summer we have the Parkway Professional Learning Community Institute, which is going to be in May. I know that many of you have attended that. We also have an elementary summer institute that Lisa Meredith started focusing on literacy several years ago. This year it's going to focus on, we're calling it making the shift to the Common Core. So it's going to be focusing on ELA and math, and Susan Irby is helping me, and a bunch of other people are working on that as well. And then we have the Secondary Summer Institute. That is also focusing on the Common Core. We're calling that one Rigor and Relevance, the Common Core and Practice in Your Classroom. So we have institutes we have for teachers trying to teach best practice to help them with achieving, for us to be able to achieve goal number 5. New teacher induction, that is an incredible program. 2 of my developers are here, Nancy Suter and Ann LaPiccolo, who really helped run this. Dan Tripp would have been here. He could not. His mom passed, and the services were tonight. So, but these guys have really taken a huge lead on our new teacher induction program, from the 4-day induction that you guys all attend to the work that they do with the teachers in the classroom. Also, we added this year to year 3 a flipped approach to that development. We had one developer, Dan Tripp, and we had over 100 teachers in year 3. And so what Dan did was he did videos of monitoring, assessment, and feedback that the teachers watched ahead of time, and then they'd meet together to talk about that learning and how they did it in their classroom. And we thought it would be a great way to learn how to do flipped ourselves, and for teachers to see it by being a member of a flipped classroom. So we tried that out. We also have administrator development, as Joy had said, and it's really exciting, the administrator development that we do here in Parkway, starting with Dr. Marty with the King's Baker, right? Yeah, so leading that kind of development around a book study for us to be better and different. And then at our principals meetings, Joy and I do our work. Desi sets that up for us. Lisa and Chelsea do development there as well, which is really awesome. Let's see, principal meetings, that's what I just talked about. We have lots of coordinator-led development. We have national board certification. We're so excited. We have 18 teachers who receive the scholarship to be doing the national board process for next year. And that's really exciting for us. And Nancy Suter leads the development for our teachers on that. And we also have a lot of support from the NEA for this particular initiative. Also under our new teacher induction program, I forgot to mention, we have mentors for both our administrators and for our new teachers, and that is another great program that we have. We have teacher-initiated development, and basically it's going on right now. The teachers, we have money and staff development where the teachers put proposals for courses in based on the needs of their schools or a need that they see, and then our professional learning action team evaluates each of those, and we give out money to the ones that score the best. We have instructional coaches, district coaches, math facilitators, PMCs, all of them involved to help achieve goal number 5. And finally, we also offer support for conferences and workshop attendance. And so all of that falls under measurable objective number 4, and we're moving forward. Okay, go.
Wait, could you do that a little faster, please?
No. Now I'm going to. Take a breath.
Most of this information that I'm going to show you right now, you can actually see on our website under Goal 5. When we have our Project Parkway, you can kind of follow how the goals are going. But I kind of show this in a little bit different way. I thought you might want to know, last year, we're able to get this from peers. As an administrator, I can actually look and see all 5 of our domains, and it will show how the teachers, their final ratings in those domains. And for the most part, you will see that the exemplaries at the bottom is that blue color and effective. We have a few developing folks, and that would be, our expectation would be that we would have some areas. I mean, I remember, I did my own, getting ready for Dr. Marty's meeting with me tomorrow, and I have a developing area. I mean, I still think there's always room for growth. So we would expect, of course, most of our folks to be in that effective area, but we also have lots of people who do a lot of work to be part of that exemplary, because that exemplary requires artifacts and information. It's just I think I'm exemplary. So it has to do with, I have to show my stuff. So that's a good thing. The other thing people might wonder about as well, you don't have very many ineffectives. Well, we take, we really, take this seriously, so that we try to help people as they go through, and so that if there might be something that's ineffective, but we've worked through it so that we can show growth. If we're not able to show growth, we have some other opportunities, to make some changes. And so it's not unusual that you wouldn't see a lot of ineffectives, because that's the whole point of the school district. We want to make sure that we're helping people grow, but if we're not able to have that happen, we also want people to make some other choices, because sometimes, a career may not be the best place for you. The other opportunity that we have is we do have some opportunities for people who have, 1-year only contracts. Sometimes, you'll do something for a year and you'll think, maybe this is not the right grade, or maybe this is not the right subject. So there are some other opportunities there that kind of take care of what might have been an ineffective rating. The next piece is actually the ratings for the operations employees last year. So these are all of the operations, and once again, you will see that there aren't not too many ineffectives. Actually, when those come over, if we do see those ineffectives, we expect a plan put in place, and we need to take action on those things. So we need, we don't just let year after year after year go by where we're getting ineffective ratings or ineffective evaluations and not take action. We look at every single one of those and put performance improvement plans in place if we need to. The next piece is the ethnicity. So this is measurable objective 3. So this is where we stand as of right now, and these are our teaching staff and administrators and combined, where we are at this very moment. So you'll see that while we have almost 15% of our students that are African American, we have a ways to go to be able to get to that same spot, so that we mirror our students. So this just is a time capsule. Right now we have about 7% of our staff members who are some kind of different ethnicity other than Caucasian. So we have our work cut out for us. The good news is this is the new hires for this year. And there are 3 groups of those that you'll see: students that are in blue, the teachers are in that red color, and then administrators in the green. You will see that we are making some gains, especially in the administrative piece, because our administrators actually are mirroring our students at the African American category. So we're pretty close in Asian and Hispanic as well, but we still have some work to do. We have to be diligent and keep working at that. And then our future plans and things that we are going to do as we go forward is that, once again, our evaluation instruments don't just get redone and then sit on the shelf. We will continue updating those evaluation instruments for both the administrators, the teachers, and our operations employees as we go through. We will continue our professional learning opportunities working with those evaluation instruments. We're always going to have people in new positions, people with new teams, and so that never stops. We're going to get better about using our technology, and we have a whole core of people that are helping us with those little vignettes and making sure that we are consistent doesn't stop. We're going to continue working with universities, the career pathways. We're going to start looking into, perhaps in that grow your own scholarship programs, we might be able to access some of our partners and be able to do some things where we can get some of those future teachers in and work as far as getting scholarships. And then, Liz?
Yes, I have 2 bullet points. We are looking at online development opportunities and other methods to offer professional learning. And, oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm loud enough. Sorry about that.
Our friends at home can hear you.
Yeah, hello. So the exciting tonight was the Professional Learning Action Team, and my team brought a proposal to Platt on an online professional learning opportunity. We're calling it Personal Professional Learning, and what we're doing is we're taking the teacher evaluation model and each of the domains, and then under the criteria, we're going to be offering courses that are kind of like a correspondence course where a teacher could, to earn 0.5 district in-service credit, could take this course, they'll turn it into me at first to grade it. Right now, it is a vision. And the Platt members are going to take it back to their teachers to see if they think this is a good idea. And we think we're going to see a really kind of a cool opportunity here. And one of the things that I hadn't really thought about, I should have, but someone in our meeting tonight said, wow, this is going to be really cost effective. And I had not thought of that. And I was like, yes, it is. I'm going to say that was my idea. But I hadn't really thought about that, but because I was just thinking, our teachers are tired. We need to find other ways that we can offer professional learning to them, and this is one opportunity that we have. So hopefully when we do this, we present again next year, we'll be able to say we put it in place and it's really going great. So those are kind of updates for you. Back to Joy.
Any questions? Well, maybe back to Joy.
Go ahead. Actually, this is for Liz. Sorry.
Hello.
And I apologize. This half of the board has a lingering cough, so we're trying to get through it.
We're sharing a bunch of
cough drops. 18 teachers signed up for the national.
Yes.
Is that a record?
Yes.
And how did, that's okay. And
Yeah.
how did we get 18 teachers interested in? Was there an effort made or?
Yes. We started off with really Dr. Marty and Dora, our new NEA person, were really excited about this, and in the past, we'd offered scholarships to our teachers, and we had 5 scholarships, but we paid for the entire board, which was $2,500, and we gave them like $500 for equipment and all this other stuff. Other districts around us offered less money, but were able to give it to more people.
Okay.
So what we did was, well, last year, then Nancy and I went to training, and we started the Take One process, which they just try one piece of the national board to see if they want to do it. And we had 22 teachers who enrolled in that. And then that was kind of out there, so that's cool. And they're all finishing it up, which was really great. And about half of those people applied to really do it, so it kind of weeded out some people who weren't interested. But we also had other people who just wanted to get on board. So our scholarship now is $1,000. They still have to pay the $1,500 but that's it. And it seemed like that was a really nice incentive for people, and we're just really excited about that. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
How many nationally certified teachers? I didn't say that right. National board certified teachers do we have right now?
12.
That's exciting, and I understand it's quite a difficult.
Yes.
It's challenging.
I think there's something else, and Liz wouldn't say this about herself. She's truly being a model here because she's going through the process herself.
Oh.
So not only is she promoting it, but she's a wonderful model because she's taught a class first semester at South High School and is putting herself out there. It's kind of taking a risk. So that's also, I think, being really a wonderful model as a professional developer. So she wouldn't say that about herself, so I have to say that.
That's very exciting. That's very exciting.
Bruce.
For Joy, and thank you very much for your presentation. I didn't know if Dr. Marty was taking notes, but I thought your enunciation was impeccable, and the high water mark for that was inter-rater reliability. Could you say that for us 5 times fast?
Thank you. I'm practicing. Practicing for bigger things, bigger functions.
But you brought that term up in connection with the administrator evaluation model, I believe, and I guess.
Well, actually, it's for the teachers as well. We want,
okay,
yeah.
That was my question.
That's actually what we're spending most of our time with. consistency, making sure that when I'm looking, if I am a principal and I'm going into third grade, and some of you have participated in those minis, and so you kind of know what the principal does. Well, when I go in there, if I'm looking at, let's say, the monitoring and assessment and feedback piece, I want, Barrett's third grade to look very similar to Wren Hollow's third grade. I don't want one principal saying, well, I was looking for these things, but they're nowhere on the rubric, and somebody else is looking for these. So that's why we practice all the time. And it's just like when we, as an old HR person, we did screener interviews. You cannot do these things without practicing. It's like playing the violin or, playing an instrument. You have to keep practicing to do that. So that's why the staff development will never end. Inter-rater reliability.
Joy, I have a question for you too. In the objective 2, where you are looking at the operational and your evaluation, did I understand that it's only 2 categories that you rate them? It's meet or exceeds or ineffective, or is there more?
No, there's actually more. There's an exemplary for that. I just kind of combine those for my graph purposes. But I don't have one in front of me. I think there's 3 categories instead of 4. We really don't have a developing. We need to learn how to do the job, or we need to keep moving. There's not a lot of gray area in some of those positions.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure, because just a pass-fail probably wouldn't be effective.
No, there's an exemplary, and there's an ineffective, and there's effective. I'll have to look. I'll get back to you about that, because every group has a little bit different. But the most important thing I think that we were looking at is it's a little bit different than teachers developing. There's a way to clean a bathroom, or there's a way to do food service, and we don't have a lot of time to spend in doing that training. We need to train you how to do it, and then we need you to do it.
How many developing bus drivers you want driving your kids around?
My wife's standard for cleaning the bathroom's a lot higher than mine.
Yeah. Well, as a building principal, I can remember, bringing in the crew and saying, "Here's what a clean bathroom looks like." So.
Many of us on the board here would like to know what you're taking for your cold.
Yes.
I have, let's see, Alka-Seltzer PM, and I forgot my AM. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God it's
think-
spring break.
Well, I think we can blame it on.
Yeah, we're getting blasted with cold air.
Sam?
Well, I think Goal 5 objectives are going very, very well overall. I think you both need a little more enthusiasm, though, for what you're doing.
I said they weren't thinking when they put both of us together, were they?
We thank you for making the presentation, Joy, as bad as you must feel as well. But I do have a question for Liz. I assume teachers have growth plans, individual growth plans?
Yes.
And how does the district support their individual plans?
So the professional learning plans that they have now are aligned with the teacher evaluation model. And so when we offer our courses, we on the peers, you can click like what's aligned to that. So what we do is we have courses that go with the domains in the teacher evaluation model, so you could sign up for those courses. We also support conferences and workshops that if those go with what you're trying to grow as an individual, that's another way we offer it. And pretty much if people come to us looking for something, we will find what they need. And my team is great at coaching people, and a lot of people seem to be wanting to have coaches come into their classroom and do that side-by-side development that's totally aligned with their professional learning plan.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we do.
And I assume at the end of the evaluation cycle that there's some evaluation of their progress or completion of those goals?
Yes, and for teachers in years 1 through 7, they're 1-year plans. For teachers in the career teacher cycle, they can be, I believe it's a 3-year plan, because that's the long of the cycle. So it kind of gives them a little bit of variety as far as that goes. But yes, they talk about that at their summative evaluation.
Great, great. And Joy, what are we doing about the evaluation for administrators next year? Will that continue to be a pilot?
I think the Superintendent Council is going to talk about that a little bit. I think that's kind of where we were thinking the last time we talked, because we just didn't feel like we had a good chance this year to be able to use that online piece. because there's a piece on the administrator. We were trying, because the many observations had been so well received by both the teachers and the administrators, we were trying to do something akin to that for the administrators, and we called them interactions, and we just haven't been able to use those as quickly as we wanted to. So we feel like we may need to, have a little bit more time to be able to really use all of the pieces of that evaluation instrument, because we just didn't get a chance to this year as much as we'd like to.
Well, I admire you in doing that, because it does take time to get everyone on board in the proper way and get the whole technology worked out as well. So.
I know I'm not dreaming this, but was there legislation passed or new requirements for administrators' evaluations, or is that just maybe coming?
Well, I think
down
that's
the
that
road?
part of that. You may be talking about the same piece that's for the teachers as well,
Okay.
which it's we're held to student achievement.
Right.
Superintendent as well.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So is that in effect now?
Well, I say we have next year to get it in
Okay.
our instrument, so that's kind of, we're working kind of
That's what
hand in
you're
hand
working
with
on.
the teachers.
By
Got it.
14th, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's neat that the board, sometime goal 5 is maybe not has as much focus, so I really appreciate your input. When we were going through budget discussion, one of our thoughts and criteria was that this is an area that is vital. We can't compromise professional development, and as you can see, it's pretty comprehensive. It's about evaluation, but it's also about developing people, and we've got so much going on with technology, Common Core, some important work, and we can't do it without really effective professional development in many different ways. And I'm excited about the online and new ways of challenging people, including the national board is another fine development that will really excel people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go on, I see we have some, I'm guessing, students in the audience. Would you like to tell us who you are, and are you here for a class or something? Where do you go to school? All right, well, welcome.
P.
Sorry
what?
we're going so late. And we've got some more over here. Same? Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. Anybody else? Okay, thanks. Okay.
Those guys in the
Right,
back.
those guys are
In the
going,
back.
no, those guys are going to come up and talk to us, right?
I think they're part of it.
Yes. So we're going to wait and talk to you when you're a little closer. 13.0, Pre-Professional Health Sciences Academy update. This is Jennifer Stanfield, Coordinator for Career Education and Partnerships, and her students and her BJC rep.
Good evening.
I hope the board makes it.
Hang in there. We have some pre-professional health science folks here who might be able to help you.
Sam and I are worried down here. We're
I
gonna-
know. And I think it's flowing that way.
You guys
Slowly moving this way.
All right, well, thank you so much. I'm pleased to be back tonight, not alone to talk about where we've come with the Health Science Academy, but to bring lots of people that are helping to make this program a success for our students. Just have to figure out, there we go. So tonight we're really here to provide answers to your questions regarding the progress of the Academy. But since my last report, our students have started their shadowing rotations at Barnes-Jewish West County Hospital. And in addition, we've begun the process of reviewing applications for next year's Academy. We had a parent meeting prior to the Project Parkway meeting last month, where we had over 40 people in attendance to learn about the program, and to date we've received 22 applications for admission to next year's Academy. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the adults who are here first, and that is Kathy Smegner, who is the instructor for the course, Mike Rogg, who is the Director of Technical Education for Special School District, and Marianne Esser, who is here on behalf of BJC School Outreach and Youth Development Department. And we also, as you know, Now, see, I practiced with this, but again, the former business teacher that can't work the technology. As most of you are aware, the Academy is comprised of 15 students. We have 14 students from South High, 1 from North High this year. And there are currently 3 male students and 12 female students enrolled in the course. And tonight, I'm pleased to introduce to you Dalton Bovacanti from South High and Cody Robbie from South High as well. So before addressing your questions, I thought that I'd start by asking our students to really say a few words about their experiences, and then from there we'll just open it up to any questions that you all have.
Hello? Okay. I'm Cody Robbie. I have nothing planned to say, but I was prepped that you guys would ask us a question and I'd answer it, and I guess the most likely question would be, what's your favorite part of the class? That's what I thought. And generally, I think the best part of the class is just seeing all the healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, and HM people, and just talking with them, knowing what they do and what they recommend for us. I think that's the best part. But specifically, the best part would probably be watching actual procedures and just seeing that, just because that's what I want to do, and that's specifically. But generally, it's just talking with, being able to talk to the professionals. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dalton Bovacanti. I'll just go off of his question. I don't really have a favorite. I enjoy all of it, the classroom and the shadowing. Many questions like what I want to do as I get older. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. I thought about doing physical therapy. But after this class, there are so many options I would love to do, but there's just way too much. It's mind-blowing. But I love being able to see the patients and shadow the doctors and see all the procedures, and it's a great program that everyone should be able to do. Thank you.
What is the reaction from the patients when they see 2 high school or however many high school students come in for their sessions?
Oh, they think it's awesome. Like they're like really open to it. I was really surprised, actually. It's amazing.
They think it's Doogie Howser.
They probably don't
I
know
don't think
who
these
Doogie
guys know
Howser
what that
is.
is.
Yeah, who's Doogie, right? We just got that look.
Are they surprised you're high school students?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we're in college or just.
Because you kind of are decked out with white jackets, right?
No, red shirt.
Oh, red shirts, yeah, that's right.
You guys are both seniors. Sorry, you're
Yes,
both
ma'am.
seniors, and do you know what your plans are for next year?
Well, I plan on going to SLU for a pre-med curriculum and
Pre-med
major in
curriculum.
biology. That's
Major
what
in
I plan to stick to it.
That's awesome.
I'm still deciding on whether to go into Lindenwood University or Missouri State for either physical therapy or radiation.
Wow, that's great. And how has this changed since a year ago?
I didn't even really know what I wanted to do until I took this class, so this has helped me so much already.
Cody?
Well, yeah, a year ago I wanted to be like a comedian or actor in Hollywood and just really not really care about
Not much of a shift there, right?
College
Biology, Hollywood.
big difference. I made a 180. I think it's due to the class. I really do. Just like the first day of class, I had the mentality of the college wasn't really in my head, but this I think I really turned around.
Wow, that's quite
Nothing is perfect, especially not in its first year. So are there any recommendations that you have to make the program better for next year?
I don't have any recommendations to make it better. I think I don't know if it's like flawless or perfect, but I couldn't, off the top of my head, think of anything better, really. Maybe follow through with the first aid CPR training. Get it certified. That'd be cool. But no
That would be pretty
recommendations
cool.
for-
Dalton?
I agree. There's nothing that I can't even think of to change. I love it. It's awesome.
That's great. Can I ask the same question of the educators?
What needs to be changed or different?
Yeah, what do you see any places where the program could be improved for next year?
Can I, would each of you maybe just say a little bit more, I think, just so we don't lose the fact that this is really a partnership. So just before you answer that question, just introduce yourself a little bit more in your role. I think that might be helpful.
Do I really need to? I'm Kathy Spagner. I'm the Health and Medical Facilitator for Special School District.
It goes into the live feed when you go through the microphone. That's why.
Is it working now?
Yeah,
Okay.
close.
Hold it closer. Well, I usually can talk pretty loud. I'm the Health and Medical Facilitator for Special School District for the technical side, so over the health sciences component. And I've taught for the district for 10 years and just took on this new position now, and I've been a nurse for, I can feel really old, for 30 years. So I'm a nurse practitioner. So I think that we're continuously looking at the way we deliver the didactic component, the way we've handled the clinical component, our guest speakers, and like to consider ourselves a work in progress, because even though things seem to have gone very well, there's always room for improvement. I do think that the way things worked out inadvertently this year by having a lot of the class in the fall and having all of these guest speakers that came in and were able to tell the students about their careers and give them advice as they started to plan their own college career and their professional career. And then having the shadowing, mostly that second semester, they were able to put into practice what they've learned in the classroom. And I think, and I don't know if you guys will agree, but you could be with the health professionals and understand what's being said, or have different abbreviations used or medical terms and understand what's happening. So specifically, I think we're still continuing to talk about how do we set up the classroom versus the clinical component, and where we're going to have class, those kinds of things.
Hello, my name is Marianne Esser. I work for BJC Healthcare, and I've worked in different roles for BJC Healthcare, starting when it was Barnes Hospital. I've been in BJC School Outreach for over 3 years, and it's my pleasure to set up these rotations through Barnes Jewish West County Hospital. As Kathy mentioned, we've been tweaking this throughout the year. The first semester we thought the students might be at the hospital a little bit sooner, but it turned out it worked out better, that they were in the classroom a little bit longer. They got a lot of good clinical labs under their belts, a lot of good training. And they could probably tell you how to clean a room because they learned all about the globe stuff that the housekeeping uses to make sure that they're the first line of infection control. Some of the things I think I would do better next year is make it clear to the students that they are going to have a rotation through the hospital, not only in clinical areas but in non-clinical areas, to see how a hospital runs. And as I mentioned, not only housekeeping but medical records and registration and facilities, but also they get to see how those departments interact with nursing men, the physicians, the dietitians, and the speech therapists, the physical therapists, etc. So, but I think our students have been great. They've been they took in the training on HIPAA. They've done me proud. I'm so happy. So, we've got a great bunch of students.
Good evening. I'm Mike Rogg. I'm the Director of Career and Technical Education for Special School District. A couple things about this experience this year. The staff involved has worked really hard to make this go this year. There were many challenges that they discovered after the program commenced, and they addressed them and took care of them very well. One thing about this program in the healthcare field, healthcare is one of the targeted industries in the governor's workforce integrated plan. So it's a good area to focus on. At the secondary level, having a broad experience and having a meaningful workplace experience is critical to the success of any standards-based CTE system. And the work experience exposure in the workplace was very good quality, and the students did everything they could to take advantage of that. The one thing going forward, when we look at the definitions of college ready and career ready, are college ready, they're ready to go into college and enter college without any remedial coursework. And on the career ready, they should have an industry-recognized credential. So I think adding some opportunity to earn some types of industry-recognized credentials would be a really good next step. I think one thing we'll have to work to overcome is distance and transportation. I think that's going to be a challenge going forward.
I think one of the best things that the students get out of the program is that they're able to experience and see how what they learn in school, all through their high school career, really can apply and translate to something out in the professional world. And being able to see all the different, not all of them, but several different medical careers and ancillary support careers that support in a healthcare environment. So I think that that's an invaluable experience that they get as they start to move on to the next phase after high school graduation.
For Mike, and I just want to thank you for being here tonight, and certainly compliment you on your entire program. I had the opportunity just last fall to visit South Tech for a luncheon and open house, and there was a cooking competition which the Parkway students won, if anybody's keeping score. Always enjoy that. And there was an open house, was it last week?
Yeah, last Thursday.
Down at South Tech, and my fifth grader is, you mentioned all the programs are trying to drive toward a industry recognized certification. One of those that currently doesn't have one, and I don't know if there's it'll get there in time, but the fashion design program, I do have a fifth grader and her best friend who's a Rockwood student who are really counting on having that program 6 years from now. No pressure.
And there's a lot of opportunities in these programs to have stackable industry credentials. We'll be looking, like in the fashion design, we'll be looking at some of the logistics, some of the moving products, ordering products. There's softwares for them to learn and industry recognized credentials they can pick up as a part of the program. So that's the direction we're moving towards, is to identify those credentials. We were at a meeting this afternoon with our Innovative High School grant. We met with St. Louis County Community College, and we're looking at a model to attach college credit to those industry recognized credentials. So as they earn the credentials, post-secondary will recognize those credits towards an associate of applied science degree.
Well, I certainly compliment you on all the programs, and these students have certainly enjoyed the opportunity, and I just can't push hard enough on the marketing side. Love what you guys do, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't find out about it sooner. So thanks.
Well, thank you very much, and I'll share your kind words with the staff.
I'd just like to say to all of you, thank you, and especially Mary Ann. I think it goes a long way to have a facility that wasn't just an afterthought, a closet. It was really a state-of-the-art, nice, just a great place for them to start out when they came up there. And so thank you for having that kind of facility ready for these students. It made, I think, a big difference in being able to teach and for them to learn.
You're welcome. They're not at that facility right now, but the facility that they're at, Barnes-Jewish West County Hospital, is a state-of-the-art hospital, and so it's exciting to see their eyes lit up and hear about that the chief medical officer is going to talk to them about robotic surgery, and he's the co-director of robotic surgery at Washington University, Dr. Barani. So you get the best of the Barnes-Jewish Hospital in a smaller facility. It's pretty awesome to share that.
Maybe someday Cody will be a doctor on TV.
I'd like to know why you two decided to sign up for the program, especially you, Cody. You weren't interested in a health career.
Well, I do think promotion of this class should be maybe upped, because I didn't know about it until I was picking classes for this current year last year. And really, at first, I knew it was going to be off campus. I knew we have to drive there, and that would count as class time. That's honestly what drew me in. But
We appreciate your honesty.
It
We
helped
do.
too, so that was a plus. That was really it. But I mean, if I would have known more about the class, I think I would have gotten more engaged right off the bat. I think it really applies like for the student, if that's what they want to do. If they see like in a brochure or something, if they're interested at all, they would flock to it.
Maybe you could direct a video commercial for the program. Think
I
about
like this idea of
See?
tying medicine with.
Tear down these walls, Dr. Marty.
When you talk to your peers about this experience, first of all, what do you tell them about it? And then do you feel like you have an advantage over their peers that they're spending all their time at South? And
I really do. I mean, this is a 2-block class, so I spend 2 classes in it, which goes by so fast. It's my favorite class. It seems the shortest. But I do feel almost superior just because I am in a real-life hospital with people that's working their job every day, and they don't sugarcoat anything. They use big words, and we're trained, we know with big words. We could kind of keep up, kind of process. So I get to see hands-on, like state-of-the-art dosimetry, like cancer, radiology. I put it on my college resume. That's how big it is.
Well,
I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, it's definitely such a huge advantage for us students in this class because we get to experience like real life after high school, and when we're in college, we're on our own, and because of this, we are ahead of so many other students who are just stuck in high school and get to be hands-on and figure out what we want to do with our lives, and it's awesome.
Jennifer, marketing
Yes.
for next year, and capacity for next year.
So what we did in terms of marketing for this year, last year, you may remember, we had some late in the game changes and some uncertainty about facilities at registration time. So there was a gray area, and it was a little ambiguous, and so some of our counselors were a little leery, and so that is how we had a small group to start with. This year, we did the parent-student informational meeting for the first time in February, which was very successful, and we had flyers that were hung up throughout, and then we also now word-of-mouth counselors are telling other counselors this is amazing.
Excuse me, was your draw when you had the parent meeting from all of the high schools?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. So that was what I was just going to say is of our applications, probably a little heavy on the south side, but for the most part, pretty equitable amongst the other 3 high schools. And I think that's just because the kids go back, they have their shirts on, there's 14 of them to spread the word about what they're learning. So definitely we're seeing that from each and every high school, which is wonderful. So I think, again, there's going to be more. And the other thing is, I would say after every publication that goes out, whether it be the Patch, the Suburban Journal, the different articles, BJC, because we have parents who are employees in BJC and saw the articles in theirs, our Parkway Today, almost every time there's a publication, I have a parent contact to learn more about it. And so there's a lot of people talking about it, which has been great.
So you have 14 students this year?
We had 15 this current year. Next year there will be 15 again, and we actually had a meeting as we looked at applications again today, and I said that we're probably, as we move into next year, I would be interested in starting to set some long-term goals for potential opportunities for growth, because we're able to kind of meet with 15 again for next year, but I have a feeling, especially as we have representation from each of the schools, that we're going to have a rapid increase in enrollment or in interest after that.
Is transportation or lack of transportation holding anybody back?
Not that we're aware of. There are some people that have, like at the parent meeting, expressed a little bit of, asking some questions. How does this work? Do you really have to drive? Is there not, but for the most part, it hasn't been a barrier. We have very complex transportation agreements where parents can allow a student to transport other students, and it's very specific as to who they can drive, when they can drive them, that kind of thing. And so the kids are really good about supporting one another and making sure that they are all where they need to be when they need to be there.
Thank you.
I think the issue of capacity, I think we have to be honest, the can't see Mary Ann there, but BJC has got, I mean, they're not gonna be able to take a lot more students. I mean, they just simply can't, they have some capacity, they can't be expected to take 40 students.
Right.
So we're gonna continue to partner and grow that partnership, but maybe have to look at other medical facilities, and we certainly have them in the area. So that'll be our challenge, I think, for us, Jennifer and others, to find those other partners as well.
When you do your clinicals, do you do them together as a group, or do you get split up?
We're all split up into 13, 14.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We're all split up individually. All of us are on our own doing something different every time.
You're individually. Oh, okay. And do you rotate through? It's the same rotation.
The
And see,
first 2 months.
You know, think about that's a challenge. That hospital is wonderful.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
yeah.
yeah.
I designed the rotation so that in the first 2 months the 15 students saw 16 different departments. And then this month we're honing in on their potential future career, trying to go where they're thinking about and try to rotate them back into certain departments. They'll end up seeing about 20 departments.
Wow.
And think of our goal of having competent students. It takes a competent student to be able to do that by his or
So
herself.
that's why they go in with really no idea of what they want, what path they want to take, and you're giving them all these opportunities to look at all these 20 different paths, and they get to choose.
As well as the health professionals and Kathy too, with her experience and my insights, having worked in healthcare. But the professionals, the pharmacists saying this is what I had to go through to become a pharmacist, or a nurse oncologist sharing what it's like to work in the Siteman Cancer Center at Barnes-Jewish West County versus a bigger place like Barnes-Jewish downtown. So the nurse executive spoke to the class a couple of weeks ago and shared the importance of being an RN and keep going, get that registered nurse degree so that they could be promoted in the future, and that they'll probably be locked out of jobs unless they become an RN. So they're gaining so much, and they probably don't even, they'll probably still process it in college.
Do they get any exposure to the mental health field?
The social worker has agreed to take on some shadows, and we did investigate some potential shadows of behavioral health, but it would be more like a one-on-one informational session.
I would also say, you know, in terms of the comment about confident learners, it's difficult to be able to go and observe the kids in the classroom. It's easy to bring in a group or to go and observe what they're learning. It's difficult when they're in the hospital because it's very one-on-one. But when they come back, they meet in the cafeteria area every day when they're finished. And I had the opportunity to be there one morning when they all came back. That is the best moment. So if you are looking for a good day, you know, around 10:30 or so, 10:15, they start to funnel back in, and their eyes are all big, and they want to share with one another, what did you learn today? What did you see? Oh my gosh, I got to do this. If you worked with so-and-so. And I mean, they are just erupting with their learning. It's amazing. It really is. So it's a really neat experience.
Have you picked up any cures for bad cough? You can share them with us if you have.
No, but
That's
they're going to
okay.
stay in their distance now.
Yes.
Don't sit under the blowers.
I know.
I think one of the things that Mary Ann didn't say, so I'll say for her, is that some of the students have also taken advantage of opportunities to go down to Big Barnes and shadow areas that are not available at Barnes West County or that we didn't have available at that time. So she's able to arrange that for the students too, which is an amazing opportunity.
That's exciting.
Talk about true partnership. Wow.
Fantastic.
A lot of players here. Special school district's been marvelous, and Barnes Jewish, and Jennifer and her work. It really is. It took a lot of coordination, and I see it with a lot of people. We need to be complimented, but Jennifer stuck with it because we did have some rough moments last year. We really appreciate Barnes Jewish coming to our rescue.
And I hope we can keep in touch with these guys and see what all these students are going to do in 4 or 5 years. What their path is.
We maybe end up in the hospital with a cough.
Yes, and maybe that.
You know, I just have to. I think Bruce was kind of hinting. You know, when we think about 21st century learners, we have 15 students that are having a wonderful experience. Wouldn't it be great if every high school student could have an experience in a career cluster area? I mean, I think that's Jennifer's dream. And so, I mean, we need a lot more partners in the fabric clothing area, fashion area, but in many, many areas.
Fashion design.
Because what this does for students, I think, is just magnificent. From a, you talk about our mission from a not only capable but confident, but certainly curious. I'm sure they ask a lot of questions, and they're raising more questions in their minds about the future. So this is a wonderful model, and hopefully we continue to build it.
And I think that Parkway Today newspaper was excellent.
Yeah.
And how, how could you not look at that? And were both of you on the cover? You were on the cover. You were.
I saw the stethoscope.
Yeah. But great boost for that program.
Guys, can I ask you, were your parents on board from the beginning?
Yeah, my parents were like, "This, you have to do this. This is awesome." And I wanted to do it from the beginning. After my counselor called me up from class and asked like, "What do you want to do?" and like, do healthcare. Like, yeah, I like to help people. And she showed me this class online or not online, but like just through the curriculum book, and it sounded amazing and awesome. And so I talked to my parents over, and they thought it was like the greatest thing ever.
I didn't know too much of what was in store for this class, so I didn't talk to them too much about it. I mentioned I was taking it, and they thought they just wanted to know more about it since I didn't tell them much about it. But from the first meeting, that's when I really, I think, expressed my interest, and they met my level of interest.
Well, and I just have to say, as a former BJC employee, the breadth of exposure that you guys are getting probably surpasses a lot of the actual employees of the hospital. I mean, because people, I mean, they think they get into their silo and they know their department and stuff. This is a great like overview when you're considering a future career path. That's just imperative.
I think it's wonderful to have the collaboration and the cooperation with Parkway Special School District and BJC. I mean, that's incredible that you all have that commitment and have made this work in the very best possible way. I guess the challenge for the future is not only to expand this program, but how do we, what Dr. Marty indicated, how do we grow it to other areas such as engineering and business and teaching and so on. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see this model being employed in a lot of different career areas, which would be fantastic for kids.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, 14.0 policy review, there is none. 15.0 call for special meeting, there is none. 16.0 call for executive session, April 10th, 2013. May I have a motion and a second that the Board of Education call for an executive session on Wednesday, April 10th, 2013 at 6:15 p.m. and or immediately following the regular meeting at Central Middle School for the purpose of considering 1. Legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving the district and any confidential or privileged communication between the district or its representatives and its attorneys, 610.021.1. 2. Hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by the district when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded, 610.021.3. 3. Preparations on behalf of the district or its representative for negotiations with employee groups, including any discussion or work product, 610.021.9, and 4, individually identifiable personnel records, performance ratings and records pertaining to employees or applicants for employment, 610.021.13.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please, Mrs. Calanda.
Mrs. Applebaum?
Yes.
Mr. Applebaum?
Yes.
Mr. Jacob?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries 7-0. 17.0, recess. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7.0. At this time, we will adjourn back to closed session. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance.